Hello and welcome to our 10th session wherein we continue our modeling of Golgumbas, and in this session we are going to work on the main structure and also explore the remaining components in the model menu and then move on to the mesh menu. If you are continuing from the previous session, you can directly start working, but if you doesn't have the previous version files, then you can download it from our Patreon page. Come into your video description or in the LMS description. If I click more here, you have the Patreon link here. Click on this link, and in the page, if you scroll down, you have Golgumbas _part1.zip. Click on this file. This is around 7 MB file. So you can just download this file, right click and extract all the files in this folder. Open this compressed folder, then right click and cut this and come into your D drive Unreal projects folder and just come here and paste it. So I will come back into my Epic Games launcher, double click to open this. Now if you come into Unreal Engine library, you can see the Golgumbas project here. Double click and wait till the project gets opened. Now once the project is open, I will come into the content drawer, and here in the Golgumbas folder you have the Golgumbas map. Double click to open this. First we are going to slightly fine tune our tomb at the top, because if you see the photograph, here in the photograph you see a long line going at the top like this. I am going to now select this model. I will come here into the modeling mode, and in the modeling mode, if I come into the face selection, you can now see that all this, I will just zoom and press E and move to the top. I have to now select this entire block and I have to pull it up. Right now what happens is, this is divided into some 18 to 20 polygroups. Now actually in Unreal you can create your own polygroup. So to create it, you have to first come into the mesh menu. So in the mesh menu, the very first option you have here is Tri Select. Now when I click on Tri Select, you get this brush like device, and I can click on the open square bracket to reduce the size of this brush faces. So I can just click here and drag around. Right click and press D and rotate around to see the back, and I will press W and zoom in, and I am going to also select these faces. So I will move up and see that all the faces of the top is selected, but along with it one of the face in the bottom is also selected. So I will press shift and click here to deselect it. If I come into this menu, you have one option, create polygroup. So when I click on create polygroup, now see this entire thing changed into one single polygroup, and I can click accept. Now see, you can see here this entire part is now one polygroup. So now I can select this entire thing. So for that I will come into the front view, and in the front view along the Z axis I am going to pull it up to scale it. See, I am going to pull it and scale it, and you can see the bottom end is also scaled. So I have to move it up like this. So I will just right click, pan up, and I will just move it up and connect it like this. So that now if I come into the perspective view and if I click out, see this structure ready. Now after this, I am now going to come into our main structure. So before I start the main structure, I want you to open the document Golgumbas dimension that is shared to you, and you can see here the overall exterior dimension of this entire monument is 51 meters. We are now going to create a box. I will come into create. I will click on box, and here the dimension width I need is 51 meters. It is nothing but 5100 centimeter. Depth also I need 5100 centimeter, and height I need 3100 centimeter. I have to come into the pivot position, and instead of base I am going to set the pivot position to top. And now if I click here accept, and then come into the location and reset it to 0, 0, 0, rotation also reset it to 0 0 0, and now if you just move and see it, it is correctly placed below the dome. This is because if I come into the front view, you can see that our main structure here, that is the dome, had its pivot point at the base, and for this main structure box we have given the pivot point at the top. So, they are correctly aligned now. As before, if I create only this box and if I try to enter inside, I had shown it in the previous session. Now, when I enter inside, the inner walls are not visible because the normals are facing outside. So, to avoid this problem, I have to create the inner walls also. All around this building, the size of the wall here is 1 meter. I will come into the box and 1 meter is 100 centimeter. So, I will reduce 100 centimeter along the width and make it 5000. Depth also I will reduce 100 centimeter and I will make it 5000, and height instead of 3100 I will delete and make it 3000, and leaving all other option as it is, I will create one more box here. I will click accept, I will reset the position and rotation. Now, you can see the second box is created and it is placed here. Only thing is now both are aligned to the top. I want it to be center aligned. So, I will select both the boxes. I will come into XForm align, and choosing bounding boxes, I will align it along Z, Y and X and click accept. I will first select box, then shift select box 2, then I will come into model and choose Boolean with difference A minus B on. Now, come here in the output object, this is going to create a new object, and I am going to now call this as main underscore structure and click accept. Now, if I come into perspective view and now if I press W and if I come inside the building, now you can see that the inner wall can be seen now. Say we are seeing the inner wall. It is totally dark because there is no illumination as of now. So, with this inner walls connected, coming into the photograph, if I see here, on each side it is divided into 3 sections. The center section is large. I will come back into the drawing and I will come into my select, and I am now going to create some loops. I will click insert loop and come into the option and choose even, and I am going to create 2 loops on all the sides. So, one this side which is equally placed, then I will turn around, press A and come to the side, and here I will place one more loop, okay, and click accept. We want the center section to be little large. I will come into model PolyGroup edit, and here I will come into the vertex selection mode, and I see that this edge loop is on, and I am going to select one edge loop here, and I am now going to move it along the red axis, that is the x axis. I will enable delta mode, and along the x axis I will move it by minus 200 units, that is 2 meters. I will also select the other edge here, and I am going to move it the other end by 200 centimeter. Now, the same thing I am going to do it on the other side. So, I will select this edge loop, and this time I have to move it along the y axis, and I will move it by 200 units, and similarly I will select this edge and move it by minus 200 units and click accept. We have this divided into 3 parts where the center part is slightly larger. If you come into the photographs, you can see a line embossed here. I will now select each face here, and I am going to come here into select and I am going to choose the option inset and I am going to create a slight inset like this and then I am going to push pull it and here in fixed I am going to push it inside by around minus 20 units. So, I will select this face also and repeat it, create an inset, then push pull minus 20, click accept. This face, inset, slight inset, then again here push pull minus 20, click accept. The same thing I am going to repeat on the other side also. Here also I will select this, inset, create a small inset here and then push pull minus 20, accept, select this, create a small inset here like this, then push pull, accept, it is already set to minus 20. I will select this, pull inset, I will create a slight inset, then I am going to click on push pull and click accept. So, like this we have created this kind of structure all around. So, this I am going to repeat it on the other two sides also now. So, I have created the inset and this push pull on other two faces also and on all the four sides we have successfully completed this task and our next mission is to create this door. So, if you come into the picture you can see the structure of this door and we have to create this door. So, to create this door I am going to come into my create menu and we are going to make use of capsule. I will click on the capsule and in output type I will choose dynamic mesh and I am going to give it a radius of about 8 meters, means 800 centimeter, and the cylinder length will be 1600 centimeter, which is 16 meters. 16 meters by 8 meters, a big door we are going to create. I will bring it here, click somewhere, click accept and I am going to then reset its position to 0, 0, 0. Then I will switch off this tomb, I will select this capsule, right click and in visibility I will enable show only selected. However, the light also has got switched off. So, I will come here in the outliner and switch on the atmosphere to get the light. Then selecting capsule, press F to zoom to it. Now, we are going to convert this capsule into an arc door. Now, I am going to come into model and I will choose plane cut. So, when I click on plane cut, you can see my bottom portion is cut off. I will now come into the front view and in the front view I am going to rotate it like this by 180 degree, so that I have the top half visible to me, and as I move it down I will cut it till this point and I will click accept. I am going to next come into my right view and I will again apply the plane cut, but this time I am going to rotate it by 90 degree and I am going to slightly move it to the left like this. A small thickness I will allow it and then I am going to click accept. Then again I will enable plane cut and this time I will rotate it in the opposite direction by 90 degree. Then I will move it and bring it to a position here, click accept. And now, if you come into the perspective view, you have this arc shaped door visible to us. If you compare the door that we are seeing here, this shape is slightly sharp at the top. So, to achieve this, I am going to select this and I am going to come into the front view. I will again come into plane cut and I am going to remove half of my door like this and click accept. I will take only half the door. I am going to select this and come into deform and I am going to select lattice. The default cut is 555, leaving it as it is. I am going to drag a box and select all the lattice points here, and I am going to slightly move it to the right to make this edge sharper, and then I select all the points here and I will slightly move it down like this. I will select all the points here and I will slightly bend it down a little more like this, and I select all the points here and I will move it down a little like this, and then I select these points here and I will slightly move it down to increase this arc shape, and I will click accept. So, now if I come into the perspective view and if I just press A, rotate around and see, okay, this shape appears to be fine. Now, I need the other half of the door. So, for that, if in the model we have another feature here called as mirror. So, when I click on mirror, see now it automatically got mirrored on the other side, and you have different options here. Left means it is mirrored now in left, right means right side, up, down, forward, backward. So, we have all this option. I will choose left, and if I just zoom it, or if I come into the front view and if I press F and zoom it out, there is a slight amount of gap here. So, I will just move it a little and adjust this gap so that they fill with one another correctly, and click accept. So, now if I come into the perspective view, so this appears to be fine. So, this is the structure that we are going to use to block our main structure. So, I will come here, select, press F2, and I am going to call this as door blocking, and after this I will right click and choose visibility and click on show all actors. I have to come into the front view, and now I have to place this precisely at the required place. So, I will select door blocking and I will just move it down, and if required I will zoom in and I will select this and I will move to a position like this, and I will also come on the top view and I am going to move this and place it near this wall. So, this is the first blocking. I placed it at one position, then I will press Alt and I will drag and I get a copy of it and I will place it at the other end. Now, I will again press Alt and I am going to drag this, and now only thing is here I will rotate it along the Z axis by 90 degree, and I am going to move it and place it at this point, and see that now the Z and X value is set to 0. So, that this is exactly on the center. I will then press Alt and drag one more copy and place it at the other end. So, now I have this door on all the 4 sides of my wall. Now, I will come into perspective view, and if I press F and zoom out to see the doors, see now I have the doors placed at all the 4 corners here. Now, my next mission is I have to now create a cut in my main structure to place the doors. I am now going to select this. First, I will select the main structure with Ctrl plus select door blocking, and now I will come here into my model menu, and this time instead of using Boolean or trim, I am going to use the option mesh cut. And when I click on mesh cut, once I click accept here, now you can see the main structure is divided into 2 parts. Now, I will come here, my door block job is over, I will delete it. Now, if you see here, you have the main structure and you have one main structure cut part. Now, what happened was, the difference between Boolean and mesh cut is, in mesh cut, the part that is cut from the main model is created as a separate object. So, now I have this main structure cut part, and if I switch it off, you can now see we have the opening here to go inside. So, we have created the cut and we also have this cut part. So, I am going to select this and I am going to call this as door 1. Now, next I am going to select this main structure and control click door blocking 2, and I am going to rotate it on the other side. Now, I will move the mouse and come to the other side. Now, I will click on mesh cut again, click accept, and now again here I will select door blocking 2 and delete it. And for this main structure cut part we have here, I will press F2 and I will call this as door 2. So, I have the second door. If I switch it off, you can see the part is cut. So, now you understand the difference between Boolean and mesh cut. Next, I am going to select main structure and with control pressed select door blocking 3. I will right click, press A and move to the other side here. And now again I will click mesh cut, accept, and here I will delete off door blocking 3. And for this main structure cut part, I will press F2 and I am going to call this as door 3. I am going to select main structure and door block 4 and I will press A and come into the other side to see where I have this structure. So, the door block 4 is here. So, I am going to click mesh cut, accept. I will also delete door blocking 4. I will select this main structure cut part F2 and I am going to call this door 4. So, we have 4 doors, and if I switch off all these 4 doors, you can now see main structure is cut with these 4 parts. So, now I will go into file and choose save all. In this door, I need some designs, I need from frame, and this framing or this modeling part of this door within Unreal will be difficult. So, now I am going to use an external 3D modeling package to model this door, and then from there I bring it back into Unreal. See, if I come into content drawer, generated Satvik, you can see now. So, now I will select these 3 boxes and I am going to delete this. I will delete this. I am going to come into door 1, right click and choose browse to asset, and this is the part. So, I will right click here and I am going to rename this as SM underscore door 1. Then I will select door 2 and choose browse to asset. I am going to rename this as SM underscore door 2. Then I will select door 3, come here, browse to asset. I am going to rename this as SM underscore door 3, and I am going to again select door 4, browse to asset. I will right click and choose rename and I am going to call this as SM underscore door 4. Other models here 4, I do not need it, I select it and I am going to delete this. If you have any other model, you can remove it. Now, this door, to create its model in an external software, I am going to select this, right click, and I have an option here, asset action, and in asset action you have one option here called as export. So, I will click on export and it will be exported in FBX format. So, you have different formats here, GLB, GLTF, OBJ, copy, T3D. I am going to use this FBX format and I am going to leave the name as SM door 1, and in the Unreal project, in your project folder, outside the content folder, I will create a folder as external models, and I am going to now save this in this models. I leave everything default as it is and click export. To manage these 3D assets in Unreal Engine and to create sophisticated and complex 3D models, the best software available which is free is Blender. You can come to blender.org file, download this installer, install it and start using it. Now in this machine, Blender has already been installed. So I will come here and launch Blender 4.4, and this is the welcome screen that you are going to see as soon as it is launched. I will click somewhere outside, and now I will press A to select everything on the screen, press X and I will delete it. Now the very first thing I do is I will go to File, Import, and I will come to FBX, and in D Unreal project, in your Golgumbas project part 1, we had saved it in external models folder. I will select this FBX file and click import. So you can see the file has been imported, and here to see the object selected in full screen, in case of Unreal we used to press F. Here press the period on your numpad and you can see this object is appearing. Now I will press 3 and come into the front view, and now here I want recreate this doors and this structure in Blender. So to begin with, I am going to start with going to add. First I want to design this frame. So for that I will go into add, and the keyboard shortcut for add is Shift plus A. Here I will come into curve and add a Bezier curve. So when I add the Bezier curve, and if I press period to zoom to it, I will switch off this SM door visibility for a second, and if I come in the top view, this is the curve that has been added. Now I am in the object mode. I will move into the edit mode, and in edit mode I will press A to select everything, then press X and I will delete off all the vertices. I will come here and I am going to use the pen. I will switch on the visibility of SM door 1, press 3 and come into the front view, just zoom out here and shift middle mouse to pan it like this. Then I am going to start creating or tracing this with my Bezier key. I have used the pen key here. So I will just click one point here, then the second point click here, then I will click at some point at this point here, then I will come and click here, and now I am going to slightly drag it up like this with shift pressed in a straight line. Then I will click here and I am going to drag it up like this. Then I will click here and join my entire loop of this spline. Then I am going to select individual points like this, and I am going to drag and adjust this curvature a little. So I will move it like this, and I will see that this almost matches my, see it is matching my door over here. So I will see that these two are equal here. This is 2 pixel, okay, this is 2 pixel, and I will come over here and I will slightly pull it like this, so that these two also are equal, so that there is a symmetry. Now I will switch off SM door 1, and this is the shape we have created. Now the very first thing I am going to create is the door frame. So for that I will come here into this curve data. You have geometry, and in geometry I will come here and I am going to come into bevel and change profile here. I will choose profile here and I am going to set a depth of 1 meter. Then immediately you can see a shape created like this. See, you can see this shape. Now here I can change the profile. So if I middle mouse click, turn and show it to you, see this is the profile, and I can just drag and change the profile here. So I can pull it up like this, or I can drag and create a shape like this. So we can just drag and change this profile, and I can create a kind of shape like this. See, I can create this by changing the profile. I got this shape. And one thing is, this is twisted here. I doesn't want this twisting to happen. So I will just drag it here like this, a little more here. So I create a shape like this, and then now once I am happy with it, I will come back to object mode and I will press number 3 to come into the front, and I will press shift D to duplicate it, right click to place it there only, and I will select the first bezier curve, press F2 and I will call this as full underscore door frame, and I am now going to come in object and I am going to convert this into a mesh. Open this second bezier door 001 which we copied, and in this I will remove off this depth, and now in this come into object and I will come here and convert this into a mesh, and now if I press tab you can see this. I will select all the vertices on the right hand side, I will press X and I will delete all the vertices. Then I will select this vertices, press E, and along the Y I am going to pull it till the center here. Then I am going to, with shift press, I select both these vertices and press F to connect it, and then select this vertices, and I can see here I have some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 vertices on this side. So, I will select with the vertices this edge, and here there are no vertices at all. So, I will right click and choose subdivide, and in subdivide here I will create some 23 vertices on this side also, and if I enable this vertices mode you can see now I have 26 vertices on both the sides. So, once this is done, now I will press A to select everything and press F. Now, this entire thing is filled with a face. I am going to press I and I am going to create an inset like this. So, I will just insert it a little like this. Then I will press X and I will delete off this inner face. Now, I will press A to select all the faces, press 1 and come into the side view. I will press E and I am going to extend it along the X. I am going to extrude it. I will extrude a little and I will come over here and type 0.5 to extrude it by half a meter. Then I will just turn around here. Door frame is fine. Now, inside this frame now I will just press 3 and come into the front view. I am going to select some of the vertices here in the center. Say I will select 1, 2, 3 and 4 vertices here. I will press F and I will just combine it together. Now, only thing is these two vertices are, this is not a straight line. So, to create a straight line I select this vertices, with shift I select this vertices. I will type scale along Z equal to 0. So, I will press tab, I will select this entire object, press F2 and I am going to call this as single underscore door underscore frame. I am going to press tab again and I am going to select this edge selection tool, and with alt click I will click on any one of the edge. So, I will middle mouse click, turn here, I will alt click here to select this entire set of vertices here and also shift click on this edge. So, I have selected all these edges, and with all these edges selected I am now going to press shift D to duplicate it. Then I will press P and I will make it as a separate selection, and I am going to now press tab and come into the object mode, and here I will press F2 and I will call this as door top underscore area. Temporarily close this single door frame. I will select this, press A to select everything, press F to fill it, and for this I will again press 1, I will press E and I am going to extrude it by around 0.2 meters. So, I create a slight extrude like this, press numpad 3 here and come into the front view. So, now I have the full frame, then I have the single door frame, then I will come back to single door frame here and I will middle mouse click, turn here. In the edge selection, I will alt click to make loop selection. I have selected this entire loop. Then I will middle mouse click and turn up. I will shift click this edge. So, I have selected this entire edge. I will press shift D, duplicate it, right click to place it at the same end. I will press P and I will separate this as a separate selection, then press tab to come into object mode. Now, I select this second single door frame 1, press F2 and I am going to call this as door underscore bottom underscore area. And even in this case, I will just switch off all others by selecting this. I will press number 3, press tab, press A to select everything, press F, then I will press numpad 1, I will press E, X axis, I am going to pull it by around 0.2 meters and I will press enter and I will press tab. And so, now we have door bottom area, top area, full door frame, single door frame and SM. This SM door 1 is no more needed. I will select this and I will delete it. If I middle mouse click and show it to you, so I have the frame and half of my door is ready. And in this door, I will select this rim and I will come into the 3 area and I will slightly scale it so that it sits outside this door area. See, this should sit outside this door area. I will press GZ and slightly move it like this, so that this door frame I need it to be visible. So, if you come here and see it, I have scaled this item by around 1.073. So, I will just scale it by around 1.08, and once I have scaled it, I will also move this. G is for moving. I will move and adjust the position, and once I am happy, then I will press Ctrl A and I will apply all my transform, so that all these values are 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, 1. So, with this done, I will come to file, save as, and I am going to save this as door and I will give it a name as door, and I have saved the blend file. I will select 1, 2, 3, 4, all the 4 items. I will come into file, export, and I am going to export this as FBX, and here I will choose selected object, so that only selected objects are exported. We will give it the name as door edited. Come into D, Unreal projects, and in your Golgumbas part 1, in external model, I am going to export this FBX. So, finally, I will save this file. With this editing of Blender file, I am going to conclude this session, and in the next session, we are going to import this FBX model into our Unreal Engine, and we are now going to add it into our scene, and this part we are going to continue it in our next session. Thank you.